Welcome back. We are, broadcasting our, I guess this is our second live event. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about our response to COVID and how that might impact travel this year. We're looking at all travel that's happening in 2021 right now. So everybody in this meeting is going to be from tours that are departing at some point in 2021. The earliest tour departure that we have is the spring break tour to London, Paris, Venice, and Rome. And that tour is tentatively going to be departing on April 2nd. So make sure you're marking your calendars, and we're going to talk more about that. So we're looking at about 3 months into the new year and really about 4.5 months from where we are right now. Okay, so let me kind of click through. And what we're going to go over today is just a little bit of EF, why we're partnering with EF, who our partner is in EF, why we're choosing them, their support for our safety, procedures on tour. We're going to talk a little bit about how we're going to respond as an organization to the threat of COVID-19. We'll look at what's next. What do we do in the event that any changes need to be made, or in the event that everything works out and the stars align and we're able to travel. We're going to talk about dates and when to mark your calendars for. Tentatively, those are very tentative dates at this point, and then we'll have a little bit of a Q&A session toward the end. It's my goal for us to be finished with this pretty quickly because we don't have tons of information to share, but we do have enough to share that we felt that this meeting was going to be super important for especially travelers and parents. Okay. So a little bit about us, just as a refresher, right? We are absolutely committed to safety on tour. We are never going to put our chaperones, our parents, our students, anyone on tour with us in any situation that we believe is dangerous. So, first and foremost, we choose EF as our partner because of that. There is a national and global, very concerted effort by Education First to make sure that travel when it resumes is resuming safely, and we appreciate that kind of a commitment, right? Obviously, we're still promoting travel, right? I think if COVID-19 has taught us anything, it's the need to connect with people, right? The need to connect with those around us, the need to understand other places, other people, and other cultures. And I think really truthfully in times like this, we can see that on a global level, we are all very much impacted similarly, and that it is important for us as a global community to be working together. And what better way to celebrate that global connectedness than really through travel when it becomes safe and available to us, right? So EF is doing a number of things to support our program and our travelers, and that's kind of what we're going to go through in this meeting to make sure that y'all feel comfortable still traveling with us and that y'all are ready to go when we get that okay to leave the United States again. Okay. So why planning for 2021, right? It's important for us to be a little bit proactive rather than reactive. The threat of COVID-19 obviously is continuing. For those of you that are watching the news, I think that we've had some really promising data that is now beginning to emerge. The threat of COVID-19 has not ended, right? That myth that, November 3rd, it would all be gone. I think that's not necessarily the case. COVID is going to be with us for a little bit longer. But what's nice is that we have these major medical corporations and vaccine developers developing these vaccines that are 90 and I think just today 95% effective in its prevention against COVID-19. So I think we are in for some rapid change and rapid progress in terms of COVID-19. That doesn't mean that the threat's not there, and it doesn't mean that we don't want to make sure that we have contingency plans in place, right? By acknowledging the fact that we may have tour interruptions, it's going to allow us the opportunity to make accommodations for everyone's situation, right? that ultimately travel is difficult for us to coordinate. It's difficult for me to plan and make sure all of my ducks are in a row with every single one of the students that is traveling with us and every one of the parents and every one of the chaperones. But we also know that for those of you that are no longer with us on our calendar or on our academic calendar here at Ashley Ridge, that we want to make sure we're able to accommodate you guys, right? And we want to make sure to the best of our abilities that we're going to be able to offer great experiences at a time when it's most convenient for you guys, okay? Ultimately, this provides us with an opportunity to share our plans as they move forward. So in the event that there is some interruption for the year 2020, whether it's spring or summer, one or the other, or both, or everything, that we can share with you plans in 2022. You can know about every tour that we're offering so that you can make an informed decision on what tour you're going to be on if something happens with your particular experience, okay? And also, this provides us with an incredible opportunity to take advantage of some flexibility and to keep y'all informed. The sort of, I guess, the way that we talk about EF is it stands for education first, but anytime you go to an EF event, teachers, educators, and EF staff always say that the second meaning for EF is ever flexible, right? And I think that's important for us to remember at this point and to always keep in the back of our minds that being flexible with these experiences and being flexible with the opportunities that are offered to you will ultimately lead you into the best possible experience, okay? So as a company, EF, obviously, just as a reminder, has over 55 years of experience in travel. They are absolutely 100% committed to the safety of our travelers. What's nice about this particular company as well is that they have staff on the ground all day, every day. Even now with the COVID-19 pandemic, EF is working on a global level to make sure that when travel resumes, the experiences that are offered are unparalleled. And the nice thing is we have had so much downtime and there has been so much opportunity for restoration as these major sites and major museums have closed. When travel does resume and when you get to go on your travel opportunity, I can almost guarantee that your experience will never be able to be surpassed. You are in for an incredible, incredible experience. They're also the world leader in educational international travel, which is super important to us. And the fact that they are accredited just like a school and that they monitor these situations just as carefully as our schools and districts do is very important as well. When we talk about safety on tour, just so parents and students are aware, this is absolutely our commitment to you as travelers and as families. We have multiple educators that will be on these tours when travel resumes. We all have extensive travel experience internationally and nationally. We also have adults on tour. We have students on tour who have traveled before and who kind of know the ropes. We also have students that are coming back who have graduated. So we have a great system of support. And as educators, we've been through a lot already. We have not yet, we're now working our way through a pandemic, I guess. So we have not yet made our way out the other end. But we have experienced everything on tours from emergency needs for the bathroom, as simple as that, all the way to, an earthquake on tour and how the company and how we as educators respond to that. So there is a tremendous amount of travel and safety experience on our team, right? We also have an incredible commitment to our safety as a group and accountability within that group. So those of you that have been on tour know well, and those of you that have not been on tour and are going to be getting ready to travel with us, understand that we do group checks periodically and often, and we are constantly monitoring and paying attention to not just surroundings, but what's happening within our group, who is with us, who is lagging behind. We always have staff available at all times to make sure that travelers are where they need to be, that all questions are being answered, and that everybody is safe and accounted for on tour and during all of our experiences. We also obviously have the group bag, my massively huge adult diaper bag, one of my suitcases that I check, that I bring along for your comfort, your safety. Everything in that bag, from Tylenol to Band-Aids to hair ties to tweezers to nail clippers to emery boards to anything that you could need, painkillers, icy hot, tampons, pads, an extra pair of athletic shorts and underwear, clean, not mine, right? Anything that you need. Deodorant is usually in there, toothbrushes, toothpaste, whatever you guys need on tour. I have it available to you. Dramamine. I mean, the list goes on and on. The bag seems to grow every year. And this is really for your comfort and your safety and your peace of mind on tour. We also have a North Charleston Police Department officer that travels with us on nearly every single tour, who is our additional set of vigilant eyes, typically the one that's following at the rear of the group, making sure that everybody is between me in the front and him in the back, and making sure that none of our travelers are falling behind or getting stuck behind security gates. And also when we're in groups and on meeting with tour guides, that he's sort of the one that stands back and watches for what's happening around us, right? The other reason why we're choosing EF, and we always choose EF, is because they support every system of safety and every policy that we have, okay? So when we talk about traveling with confidence and why we want to keep you guys on tour and why we're excited that you're still traveling with us, I think the first thing that we really need to talk about is EF's peace of mind policy. At this point in time, this is really built into every single tour. And those of you that were registered to travel in 2020 and are now registered to travel in 2021, you're experiencing this, and it cost you nothing to move from one tour to another. And that's really about providing me as a group leader and my team the flexibility to change dates, to change destinations, and to alter our experience in these uncertain times, to make sure that with the pending COVID threat, that we're able to give you a great experience. Now, this even goes for, like I said, spring break this year, we're due to go to London, Paris, Venice, and Rome. We're due to depart on April 2nd. If there's a COVID interruption because Europe is still being hit hard by the pandemic, but the United States and Central and South America do not have those problems, this is an opportunity for us to look into other itineraries as a group. And as those situations arise, we have the flexibility to have those conversations, to alter destinations and to alter tours, to make sure that we're still providing an amazing experience to y'all, but making sure that we're doing it in the very safest way. Also, every single traveler on our tours has purchased a global protection plan, which is your insurance policy, right? This plan will provide you with pre and post departure benefits. This is one of the things that really allows those of you that on tour have lost luggage, have misplaced, I've only ever lost one passport, knock on wood, and we found it. But anything like that, it allows us the opportunity to get you what you need, basically. When we talk about pre-departure benefits, this isn't going to happen, but if one of you, falls and breaks a leg the day before we're due to depart, this is going to allow you the same flexibility that peace of mind does. Is this provides you with the ability to move into another tour so that you can do that when you're healed, when you're ready, and when you feel good about traveling, right? And as far as post-departure goes, again, when we return, if there's misplaced luggage or lost merchandise or anything like that, this is going to be your opportunity to be able to recoup any kind of lost value on those things. The last thing that's pretty new to this COVID situation is vouchers for EF travel, right? This is super important. Some of you have already taken advantage of this. It takes time for me to get everybody moved, so I appreciate y'all's patience last year and into the beginning of this year as we made sure that everybody's account got reconciled and everybody's payments got moved over. But if you're enrolled on a tour that is impacted by COVID-19 or by a cancellation from COVID-19, I can issue you a voucher for the full amount paid that you can carry over to another one of our experiences, which is why we're going to go over those experiences today. The benefit of this is there's no money lost. Anytime there's cancellations, there is sort of that corporate liability component where they have to recoup some of what's lost, right? So inevitably, you always lose out a little bit. This voucher system is your ability to voucher on to another experience with us at absolutely no cost to you. And we have experiences that happen at multiple points through the year. So maybe you're not able to use that voucher right away. Maybe it's something that you come back and use it in the summer for. And again, I think some of you are already experiencing this, but if there is some further interruption due to COVID in the spring or in the summer of 2021, these vouchers become invaluable. And I work really hard to make sure y'all get on the experience that you want. So what's next for us, right? Where do we go from here? This is really our opportunity to continue to monitor and to continue to adapt. At this point, it is way too early to call. And we have really too many balls in the air to really be able to say where everything's going to land, right? So it's important for us to just take a step back and make sure that we're merely monitoring the situation, and as new information arises, that we're going to adapt, right? If it looks as though there could be an interruption to spring break, you'll hear from me immediately within 30 days of departure. If we get to the 30-day mark and things look kind of shaky, you will hear from me, we will hold a meeting, and we will make a decision on what to do with that particular tour. The nice thing is we have flexibility up until about 15 days before departure. This whole peace of mind policy and this voucher system has granted us more ability to adapt later. So for those of you that are registered for the spring break tour of 2021, sit tight with me, because as we get closer to the tour, as we make our way into January, February, and March, we're going to be paying attention to the global climate. We're going to be paying attention to virus spread on an international level, and we're going to be paying attention to vaccine distribution on an international level. And all of those things will impact how our experience plays out, potentially where our experience plays out, and any changes that might arise. So sit tight, and the minute I have information, I will be conveying that information to you guys as quickly as I get it. Right now, we are still due to travel to London, Paris, Venice, and Rome in the spring of 2021, and this vaccine information that has most recently been released looks quite promising. So let's just hope and pray that we have no interruptions. Ultimately, the amount of time that we have is going to allow for more traveler notification. Those of you traveling in the summer, you're in the same boat. We have a lot more time between now and June, but ultimately that notification system will still be in place. This is also our opportunity between now and the spring for us to review all of our options. As things become more clear, as we get more information about what the big picture is going to look like, what spring is going to look like, what summer might hold for us, we're going to be able to review these options in more detail with y'all so that you can make an informed choice on what's the next step, if you even need to take a next step. This is going to be your opportunity to take advantage of some flexibility, and this is really our opportunity to take some real concrete action and make sure that we're providing the best experiences that we can. Just as like a quick note for y'all, those of you, especially those of you that have now graduated and you're now at the university level, those of you that have vouchered from a 2020 experience into a 2021 experience, especially if your tour is completely paid for a very small fee, if you want college credit for this experience, this is your opportunity to get that credit. And I don't mean for this to sound like a sales pitch, but I think for those of you, especially that are now in college, you want to get in touch with EF immediately and talk to them, talk to the EF, and I'll send out this number about the experiences and about these experiences and about how you can earn college credit through Southern New Hampshire University. This is going to be an opportunity for you to be able to gain some college credit for something that you're really going to enjoy and love every minute of. This requires some reflective practice before and after, but by no means is this going to be, you know, thousands and thousands of hours of work. This is really about experiential learning and about you working to become really a global learner and a global citizen. So if you have questions about this, you can email me and I will send you the information for EF so that you can reach out to them and ask more questions about this particular experience or figure out how to get enrolled for college credit while you're on tour. So this is still an option for every single traveler. You can get college credit just by traveling with us and by doing just a few assignments with Southern New Hampshire University. Just as kind of like a refresher for y'all, and in case you're curious about where we're going, I think it's important for us to just kind of rehash so that you can build that excitement back up, right? We're going anywhere from Athens and Florence and Meteora and Rome to these other places, Sydney, and snorkeling on the reefs in the Galapagos Islands, to Auckland, to the Galapagos Islands, right? I mean, we have incredible experiences planned in Dublin and Belfast and Edinburgh and London, and these are the experiences that y'all are ultimately signed up for. So where are we going? And this might be worth it for y'all to just jot down a few little notes so that way you know, so what happens if my tour is interrupted? What are my other options, right? What else can I do? I want to make sure that you guys have all of the information available to make the best possible choice. So in 2021, obviously our spring tour is to London, Paris, Venice, and Rome, right? I don't know why that just clicked over, sorry y'all. Now with London, Paris, Venice, and Rome, that's the first tour that could potentially experience interruption. And if it does experience any kind of interruption, then what we can do is either move you into another tour or we can potentially look at moving the dates of that experience. Now, ultimately, the 2021 tours, the space on these is now a little bit limited and they're subject to COVID travel restrictions. So we really have to be very aware of these experiences, all right? Don't worry about this yet. We have lots of flexibility, but just so you have an idea of where we can go and where the potential is to travel, if one gets canceled out, there's another opportunity right around the corner. Everything from South America to 31-day Grand Tour of Europe, you have options in 2020 that you can travel on. Now, looking forward to 2021, in the spring of 2021, we're doing a tour to Greece and Italy. So if things are not working out this year, if dates and the stars don't align perfectly, if when we're traveling doesn't work for you, when our dates do kind of solidify a little bit more, then we've got options in the spring, in the winter, and in the summer for you. Greece and Italy in the spring, Italy, Florence, Venice, and Rome for the new year. This is a go-ahead adult tour. So this is travelers over the age of 19 are permitted on that particular tour. And then Australia, New Zealand, and Hawaii is available to everyone and families in the summer of 2022. Looking back, I think it's important for me to maybe mention, and I'm sorry I didn't do this earlier, what our tentative dates are for the 2020 experiences. So when we look at our calendar for 2020, we're looking into April for the spring break tour. And that's tentatively scheduled, the spring break tour, between April 2nd and April 11th. Again, this is very tentative at this point. Looking ahead to Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands, that is tentatively scheduled to depart around the 17th or 18th, which is right at graduation. And until we really know what's going on with graduation, until we really know what's happening with COVID and the direction of this and when we're allowed to depart, when we're able to depart, is when we'll really see that date solidify. But right now, we're not sure exactly where it will fall, but we're looking at the 17th, 18th, and 19th for a departure and a return date around the 24th, 25th, 26th, okay? For the Grand Tour of 2021, we're looking at a departure on June 26th and a return on July 25th or 26th. That's a 31-day experience. All of Europe in that one, if you want to come along. Okay. The dates for 2021 are obviously not yet available. Those will become more available the dates for 2022 are not yet available, not even in a tentative form, just because we're not yet even close enough to be able to have a district calendar for us to be able to situate these tours correctly. You can almost guarantee that the Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii trip will be situated smack in the middle of the summer, after graduation, certainly, so there are no conflicts there, just to make sure that anyone who wants to travel is able to. Greece and Italy will be over the high school spring break. Italy for New Year's will be over the winter break and maybe a little bit into January. And then again, if that doesn't provide you with enough time to plan or to adjust, we're going to Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and England in the spring of 2023, and Iceland in the summer of 2023. Ultimately, I discuss these options with you guys so that you are informed of what's to come. And if there is any conflict or interruption with your tour that we can't manage to work out, that you don't have to cancel, that you are able to make a change. Ultimately, I can't tell you how much I'm going to discourage canceling, mostly because of the amount that you could potentially lose in a cancellation. With those vouchers, you're able to voucher over to another tour, to another experience, and really lose nothing. Every single thing that you have paid, every dollar that has gone towards your trip is now moved into another experience, and that becomes incredibly valuable. I think the other thing to mention here is that your tour donation page is still active. So this is a huge asset to those of you that have already paid for your entire experience in 2020. Pull those tour donation page links out, get those out for the holidays. People can overpay into your account, and EF is going to cut you a check for 100% of what's been overpaid so that you have spending money, tip money on tour, and so that you're ready to go. So take advantage of the extra time that's available. And if you have questions, please, please, please reach out to us. Let us know, send me an email. I want to make sure that you are on the experience that you want, that we are able to remove any conflicts that might exist, and I want you guys to feel good about the experiences that you are going to have. All right. So at this point, I guess we'll go over some questions that have maybe been asked, if there are any. It's looking like I'm getting the head nod no, but if you do have a question, we're going to stick around for about 3 or 4 minutes here. And at this point, you can go ahead and ask whatever questions you have in the meeting chat. So we'll give that a minute, and I will pop back on and answer any questions that come up. If nothing comes up, y'all, it was great. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. If you have questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out. Don't hesitate to drop into that meeting chat. We're going to be here for a few. All right, y'all, thank you so much for attending. It doesn't seem like there are any major questions, mostly about how much spending do I need and whether or not we're going to go shopping. And the answer is yes. And you could probably get away with about $20 to $50 a day, depending on how extravagant you want to be. If you want to buy big ticket items, you might need more than a 50. But if you have any more questions about travel, about your experience, about dates, about anything at all, I want to make sure that you guys get the information you need. So please, please, please email me, and I will let you know what your options are, what the best course of action is going to be. And remember that ultimately we're here to work for you guys and make sure you get the best bang for your buck, the best experience, and to make sure that you feel good about traveling with us still. Thanks again for tuning in. I can't wait to travel with y'all. I've got the travel bug bad. I can't wait to walk down the aisle and hear, this is your captain speaking. Love you guys. Thanks for coming with us. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a great night.